Hi, welcome back. In this class, we'll look into three important Python built-in functions. Uh, they are map, reduce, and filter. Uh, these functions are normally used in big data processing, especially in Hadoop environment. All these three functions will take two parameters. The first one is a function, and the second one is a container object, and they work slightly differently. Let's see how these three functions work. The first function map will take two parameters. First one is a function, and the second one is a container object. The function could be a regular function defined with a def key or a lambda function. Normally, we use a lambda function with these three functions. The first one is the map function. The way it works is it executes whatever the function we are passing. It will execute on each item in the container. Here, for example, here X is the container. This function the map will execute whatever the function we are passing on each item in the container, and it will produce a new container with the new values. Okay, that is how the map works. The second one is a reduce function. Reduce works slightly differently. It applies the function we are passing continuously to the sequence to produce a single value. Sequence means X, the container object. It applies this function continuously to produce a single value. And for example, I have an example here. Reduce, and we are passing a lambda function, and we just want to add up all the numbers, all the items in this container. And see this example, I think I took it from internet. Here the container is 47, 11, 42, and 13. And when you apply the reduce function, this function basically takes two parameters and adds them up. It takes 47 and 11, produces 58. And then it takes 58 and 42 and produces 100. And then finally it takes 100 and 13 to produce 113. It takes two items at a time, adds them up, and takes the result and adds to the next item in the container. So that is how the reduce function works. And finally, we have the filter function. It basically takes it filters out some of the items from the filter and gives out a new container. It applies whatever the function we are passing. It applies to each item on the container, and it filters out. Suppose if it does not satisfy the condition, it filters out that particular item, and finally it gives a new container with a less number of items. One more thing I want to tell is, if you are using Python 3 or up, you have to use import functools for reduce to work, because the reduce was taken out from the core Python in Python 3. So for that one, it was placed in a module called functools. So we have to import functools for that. All right. Let us see some example. Let us start with the map. Okay. Let me create a container object, say C, and just a simple object 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And let me put 10. All right. That's a container object, and if I see, that is my container object, and I'll create a lambda function. Lambda function, say lambda, and x It will take a single parameter and it will multiplies with let us say with 2. It's a simple function. It multiplies whatever the number, it multiplies with the 2. And we can use we can run map on the container, and I will pass function fn and the container. All right. If I execute this one, I get a container object. In Python 3 we get a container object, but sorry, in Python 3 we get a list object, whereas if you are using Python 2 or 2.7 or something, then it directly prints out the list object. In Python 3 we have to wrap this one with a function, list function. If we execute this one, this is what we get. So each container object, this function, the function basically takes each item and multiplies with the 2, right? Say for example 1 became 2, 2 became 4, like 9 became 18, 10 became 20. Okay, it just multiplies each item with the 2. So basically the map function is applying whatever the function we are passing here is applying to each item in the container. All right. Okay, let us see one more example. We'll use the same container. I'll change the function. I'll say function lambda and x. I'll say it will return let us say it returns x plus 2 if x is even. I'll say x equal to 0. Sorry. If x is even, it will return x plus 2, else x plus 1. That is my lambda function. All right. And I'll use this same code. All right. To the same container. If I execute this one, see, this is what I got. The container is 1, 2, 3. This are first one. I just added 1. Let me print out right here. First one is odd, so it just added 1. The second, the 2 is even, added 2. Again 3 added 1, 4 added 2, and for 5 is an odd, added 1. Similarly 10, it added 2 because 10 is even. So that is how the map works. Whatever the function we are passing here, it will be executed on each item in the container. All right. Let us take an example. Let us see an example with a string object. String is also a container object, right? I'll say c equal to hello. All right. That is my container object, and let me copy this. Let's say, and I'll change this one. I'll change the lambda function. I'll say yes, yes dot upper. It will take each item in this container, in this string, and it will make it an uppercase. All right. If I execute this one, you get hello. Each letter in this, each letter is changed to uppercase. Let us take one more example. One more thing I want to tell you is normally people use actually we can also use instead. I'm just for readability. I'm creating a lambda function and then I'm passing. But also you can use it like this. Normally people prefer this method because it's like an inline function. They'll just put the lambda here and just write whatever the code they want. But just for simplicity, I'm just making as two separate lines. I'm just creating the lambda function here and then passing that lambda function here. Okay. And also I'm just using a simple fn as function, but I can give a appropriate name also. For example, I can say up or upper or upper, something like that. All right, let us see one more example with map. I'll copy this. I'll change this to a string of say Python programming. Programming is fun, right? I want to split this one. Let me take out this. I'll copy it. This is a string, right? I want to split it. Dot split. That's a split is a method on string objects. Split. It will split on at because I'm not passing anything here. It will split on the space character. And if I see what is seen now, it is it will separate each word. It will convert it into a list object with the different words. Okay. Let me write. Now I will take this one. All right. Now I want to, okay, let me execute this one. Let us see what we get. See, each word is totally changed to uppercase. The Python programming if and fun. And also we can do something else. We can find the number of characters in each word. We can say, let us say this lambda function will count the number of letters in each word. All right. If I execute this one, you get a container with numbers. The first one is 6 is the number of characters in Python. 11 is the number of characters in programming and so on. So that is how to use a map function. And also we can use one more thing I want to tell is I can also use map function with multiple containers. Here right now we are using only one container. We can also use with multiple containers. Let us create 2 containers. Let's say x 1, 2, and 3. A simple list object with 3 items 1, 2, and 3. I'll say y equal to, let us say 1. Let us say I'll give 10, 20, and 30. All right. And let me copy these 2 lines. What I want to do is the lambda function, I want to change it. I say a, b, and pa. Those are my input parameters, colon, and I just want to multiply a into b. Or a into b. All right. This takes 2 parameters and multiplies those 2 parameters. If I here, I'll pass the 2 containers x and y, right? This is a lambda function, and this I'm passing the container objects. And if I execute this one, 10, 40, and each item takes the first item from here and multiplies with the second the first item in the y container. And 2 into 2, 40, 3 into 3, 90. That's how it works. We cannot pass more than 2 containers. We can pass 3, 4, 5, any number of containers here. Okay. And also it's we can accordingly we can to change this lambda function. Okay, that's all about map. I think I gave you enough examples. Let us move on to the reduce. function. And I said, because I'm using a Python 3.0, I have to import the functools. I'll say import, right? I'll execute it, so no problem. And let me take, let us, I'll create a container, a new container, say, I'll say 10, 11, 22, 33, 5, 77, and 22. All right. Using reduce, I want to find the max of this one. Using the reduce function, I want to find the max. Okay, let us write the lambda for this. I'll say lambda. Because lambda works with two items at a time. So I'll say x, y. Return me x if x is greater than y, else y. That is to find the max of two numbers. Between these two, it will work on these two and it will return 11. Okay, let us let me call this and I'm passing the map, map, it's not map, reduce. And also because it is part of the functools module, I have to say functools dot reduce. All right, I have to say this is what I have to say. Then I'm passing the same parameters, a function and a container object. If I execute this one, I got error. Let us see what is the problem. Okay, here we don't need no need to wrap it with a list function, because it is it's not giving a list. It is just gives a single value. All right. If I execute this one, I get 77. 77 is the largest number in this container. All right. So it is we are pulling out the max number. That is what this function says. This lambda function, using this lambda function, we are pulling out the max number from this. All right. And let us take one more example. I'll take the whole thing as it is. And let me find out the sum of all these numbers. For that, we can say x plus x, right? If I execute this one, I get 10. What? Oh no, this is sorry. We have to say x plus y. All right, we get 180. If we total all these numbers, it has to be 180. All right, this is how it works like this. We are passing a list of numbers and it takes two at a time. 47 plus 11, 58, and 58 plus 42, 110, 110 plus 13, 130. That's how it works, two items at a time, and takes the result and works with the next item in the container. Okay, that is about reduce. Let us move on to filter. Okay, filter function. Filter is also part of the language and there is no need to import for this. Let us create a new container. I'll say I'll use a list comprehension for this. I'll say I for I in range 20. That is my list, and if I want to see the list, I can say, so it is I'm creating a list of numbers from starting with 0 to 19 using the range function. All right, and then let us write a lambda function. I'll say function lambda. I just want to filter out all the numbers less than 10, let us say. then I say lambda x and return only if they are greater than 10. If they are greater than 10, it will be true for each item. Then it will discard all the numbers less than or equal to 10. And if I let us say filter and function, and let us pass the container. All right. If I execute this one again, it returns a list object. So that's why we had to wrap it with a list function. So we got 11, 12, 13. I mean everything greater than 10. All right. And suppose if you want to find the even numbers in this one or odd numbers, let us first find the odd numbers. Let me copy this first. Okay, if I want to, this is how we can do that. We can say x modulus 2. If we say x modulus 2, if I execute this one, you get all the odd numbers, right? All the odd numbers. And if you want to get all the even numbers, if this condition is true, then only it will pull this. Means this condition is true when there is some value. Whenever you are dividing with and whenever you are dividing with 2, if there is a remainder, and this gives the remainder, right? Suppose if you say 11 modulus 2, it will give a remainder 2, because 2, it will give a remainder of 1, because 1 is a true value. That's why it is pulling out all this, because it's pulling out 11. That's how it works. And if you want all the odd even numbers, you have to say x modulus equal to 0. And if you execute out, you get all the even numbers. All right. That's how to filter works. It applies this, whatever the function you're passing, it applies onto these items in the container object. And that's all about the built-in functions. But these are very important functions. That's why I'm including in my course, because normally these are used in big data processing, especially in Hadoop architecture. They use a map, reduce, and filter. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll meet in the next class. Okay, thanks.